The highest stage in moral culture is when we realize that we must control our thoughts. We must admit, however, on what I found, that man in all his noble qualities, still wearing his skeleton, of the indelible stamp of his lowly origins. Humans descended from hairy, quadruple-tailed, and perhaps arboreal in their habits. It is not the strongest or the most intelligent species that survive, but those that are the most adaptable to change. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. At some future period, not very distant as measured by centuries, the civilized races of man will almost certainly exterminate, and replace the savage races throughout the world. I have tried lately to read Shakespeare, and found it so intolerably dull that it nauseated me. If the misery of the poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. I have steadily endeavored to keep my mind free so as to give up any hypothesis, however much beloved, and I cannot resist forming one on every subject, as soon as facts are shown to be opposed to it. An American monkey, after getting drunk on brandy, would never touch it again, and thus is much wiser than most men. Animals, whom we have made our slaves, we do not like to consider our equal. A man's friendships are one of the best measures of his worth. I love fools' experiments. I am always making them. A scientific man ought to have no wishes, no affections, a mere heart of stone. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. It is those who know little, and not those who know much, who so positively assert that this or that problem will never be solved by science. The very essence of instinct is that it's followed independently of reason. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us, and I for one must be content to remain an agnostic. To kill an error is as good a service as, and sometimes even better than, the establishing of a new truth or fact. How paramount the future is, to the present when one is surrounded by children. I have tried lately to read Shakespeare, and found it so intolerably dull that it nauseated me. I have called this principle, by which each slight variation, if useful, is preserved, by the term of natural selection. We can allow satellites, planets, suns, universe, nay whole systems of universes, to be governed by laws, but the smallest insect, we wish to be created at once by special act. I am turned into a sort of machine for observing facts, and grinding out conclusions. On the ordinary view of each species having been independently created, we gain no scientific explanation. Man is descended from a hairy-tailed quadruped, probably arboreal in its habits. A moral being is one who is capable of reflecting on his past actions and their motives, of approving of some and disapproving of others. Man tends to increase at a greater rate than his means of subsistence. What a book a devil's chaplain might write on the clumsy, wasteful, blundering, low, and horribly cruel work of nature. My mind seems to have become a kind of machine, for grinding general laws out of large collections of facts. False facts are highly injurious to the progress of science, for they often endure long, but false views, if supported by some evidence, do little harm, for every one takes a salutary pleasure in proving their falseness. I cannot persuade myself that a beneficent and omnipotent God would have designedly created parasitic wasps with the express intention of their feeding within the living bodies of caterpillars.